to you. We on the text right here, making sure to bring you live this broadcast. So we're now going on to Establishment Blatter and the team in the US. Welcome.
Thank you, Prince. Thank you. And we want to say welcome to Fortified City Roundtable. And today we have lots of issues we're going to be discussing. And we want to say Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. I know we are in a festive season, so a lot of people are preparing for the celebration. I want to say welcome to my panelists in studio this afternoon or this morning, wherever you are, whatever the time is. I want to say welcome. And we've been hearing some news and everything and around Monrovia. So today our first topic we'll be talking about mob justice. But before we go into that, we just want to observe a movement of silence for those that were victim of mob justice. Um, it is a terrible thing for your loved one to experience such a thing. So just want to just a moment of silence to remember those who lost their lives in that manner. Thank you so much. Thank you. And I want to welcome every one of us. And we're going to start with uh, Mr. Noble that will give us his opening statement. Remember today, if you just joining us, this is Fortified City TV, and we are relaying also live on OCM Radio in Monrovia, Liberia. So wherever you are, you can prepare yourself. We're going to have our lines open later if we have the time, so that you can call and make comments and ask some questions. So we want to say welcome. We'll start with Mr. Nubo, just his opening statement. Welcome, Mr. Nubo.
Thank you. I'm George Numbo. I'm not a stranger on this show, but our opening uh, focus is on mob justice. This has been in Liberia for years, but the level at which it is done way back when they arrest a rogue, some bystander can come and slap the rogue. But this is not what it is now. At the beginning of the weird government, I saw two ladies in Sano accused of witchcraft. And these ladies, the way they treated them was very inhumane. And that is continuing in Liberia. And I am concerned about it. The recent victim, we are hearing that the victim passed away. That's the reason we had a moment of silence. And that
Thank you
was
so much.
in Liberia.
Thank you, Mr. Nubo. We want to go to Chucho Alex Jones.
All right. Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here. I want to wish all Liberians a Merry Christmas and a Happy Holidays. Uh, I'm Chucho Alex Jones, and I'm going to be part of this panel discussion. My perspective is just a lot in the breakdown of governance in Liberia by people who are incapable serving in both the we administration and the Unity Party government of the past. They failed to uphold the law. Most of them are lawbreakers, and most of them, some of them are in the House of Representatives and the Senate. And so you cannot have justice when those who make the laws and those who are in charge are also lawbreakers. So hopefully this issue will be resolved as we go forward, and we'll have better leadership in Liberia. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. Uh, Dr. Gompu?
Thank you. It's a pleasure being here. And I think this show and the discussion today is timely. And I hope that the discussions will lead to an exchange of ideas with the public so that we can find solutions to some of the problems facing Liberia. The conversation today covered three key areas, beginning with mob justice and what to do about it, and the funding for the inauguration, as well as how to fight corruption in Liberia. So I think these are all issues that affect the public welfare, and Liberians are looking forward to this conversation. So I'm glad to be a part of it.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Doc. We just want to go straight to the point. We are talking about mob justice. How can we discourage such? Because from history, we know that we have had incidents, maybe at a lower level scale, but now we see it has escalated. So how can we discourage this as it when it comes to the rule of law? Doctor, not Doctor, but Doctor to be Mr. Nubo.
don't make that Gompu angry, because he worked for that and he accomplished that. And what I want to say here is the enforcement, the police. We need to strengthen our police. We need to have a police force that can detect all these things here. Because the recent, not the most recent, but the recent incident in Grand Gator County. If you ask how these people got together and felt that so and so politician was responsible, and you ask the police, they will not be able to explain. So we need to have a competent police force. We need to have competent lawyers, judiciary, and all those are lacking in Liberia. Let's say I break into your house by passing through the window today. The police people will come, they will be helpless. They will not know that I passed through that window. So they will not have evidence, and the citizenry will be disappointed because they cannot get certain information they want, and they will come to my house and destroy my house. The government is responsible. The police is responsible. The justice system. If my pocket is deeper, I will have justice. So these are the contributing factors to the situation, unfortunate situation we have in the country today.
Thank you.
Uh,
Thank you. We take that same question, um, Choo Choo. But before then, Delon, you are welcome. I know you are not here for the opening comments, and right after Choo Choo respond to the question how uh, we can equally address these issues, the issues of mass justice. Mr. Noble talk about strengthening the police or strengthening the justice system. You want to take a cue from that, Mr. Jones?
Well, I don't have much to add. I think Mr. Nupo said it all. The police, uh, the lawmakers, the government, they are responsible, um, because they are absent-minded in their approach, in their leadership. And this is all the governments in Liberia. As you rightly said from his opening remarks, that this has been occurring for generations in Liberia. So, most times people think leadership is about, we should be our next topic, inauguration, travel, appointments. But these are the things, safety. Okay. I think the president has three responsibilities. One is security and safety of the people in the country. Two is the welfare, economic and social welfare of the people. And three is the foreign policy, our relations with the international community. And I think all Liberian presidents have failed miserably in that area. They have not protected the people. They have not provided for the people. And we have not had very good foreign relations. Every arrangement in the country has not worked for us, but instead worked against us. So this is a reflection moment. It's unfortunate that this young lady was brutalized and killed, um, in the city. This is not in some remote part of the country.
Hmm.
And there were no police in a world where we have CCTV and all the different technology. I was watching once in Kenya where they have cameras all over the city that the police can spot and pick up any incident and respond. But Liberia is still backwards. Um, so I think he's head on that they fail, and hopefully we'll be watching to see what this next government how they approach it, so
Thank
that
you.
this can end.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. Mr. Delon, you are welcome. The discussion right now is how we can handle or how we can curtail map justice, how we can discourage that. So as you open it, you can just respond to that.
Yes, just want to say thank you for having me, and also to expand on what you guys were saying. Uh, what's happening now in Liberia is a reflection of the fact that the government that we have at the moment has just failed to provide any kind of rule of law. The president came out not too long ago to say that he's not responsible for security. Everyone has to provide their own security. And as Chuchu was saying, no, that is the responsibility of the government, the administration. That is part of the social contract between the people and their government. So, um, I mean, just the semblance of having a civilized society. We no longer have that in Liberia, and we've had years of war. We came out of the war, and we've been trying to build, a modern country, a country that would be able to stand up proudly among the Committee of Nations. But um, I feel like we failed miserably, and that should be a target for this incoming administration and subsequent administrations to try to, bring about the rule of law, provide security for the people, and security could be in the sense of the police, but also economic security as well, because our people are still struggling. And actually, I would, from when I was last in Liberia, I would argue that the country is in a worse state when it comes to economic security and even just security as a whole, as far as the safety within the country. The country is in a worse state than it was during the war, and so this is emblematic of that. This ordeal with this girl, Dede, It's something that we shouldn't just allow to just go by. We have to use this as an example to show why there's such a need, and it should be at the forefront of the problems that should be tackled by this incoming administration.
Thank you, Dylan. Oh, we back to
Uh,
Dr. Gompo.
just a minute.
Yeah,
Uh,
can you
the
hold?
the gentleman you called DeLong,
Can,
we
Doc,
have not gotten any introduction. So who is he?
Dylan, can you just quickly do that?
Yes.
Carlos DeLong?
Well, I'm sorry. Due to technical difficulty.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh yeah. Well. Uh, I do apologize
Willie,
for due to
Okay.
technical difficulties. Yeah, like I said, I do apologize due
with
to technical difficulties. I was
understandable.
Dylan, not Darius Dylan.
Okay.
He's Willie Dillon. So
Okay.
thank you, Willie. Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, Doc, we're back to you. The same question, but they talk about the system, but I don't hear people talking about the citizen themselves. What are the need orientation? You know, the mindset. How can we address them? Because for this to change, there's a lot that need to go into this. What's your opinion on that, Dr. Gompo? We have some technical problem when it comes to the
And
internet
the
today.
and
They're kind of
can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you
Yeah.
now.
Can you
Go
hear
ahead.
me?
Yes.
Yeah, I am in sympathy, deep sympathy with the family of the deceased woman, and really think that this is something very serious, especially in a situation like this where it is said that this woman was a mistaken identity. She
Hmm.
she was not identified correctly. That someone I saw, how did you vote? And then the two guys moved on to begin to shout that she was a motorbike thief. And as Numbo said, this is not the first incident. This has been ongoing. And most of the time, this has happened across the nation. They keep saying that we will investigate, we'll investigate. And I agree with many of the comments that have been made by my other colleagues on the panel. But I should add that we should also look at the profile of the people that constitute the mob. Who are these people? Many of them are abandoned children, homeless youth who have nothing to do, nowhere to go, depressed, hopeless. No normal person would just join a crowd to consider it to be fun, to just beat on someone that you do not know at all because of an accusation have been made. So there's a need to look at what is happening that is causing so much hopelessness in the country. So many young people now are classified as Zogos, and that number is increasing. I understand the estimate in Monrovia, across Monrovia, is about 40,000. It's increasing in Nimba County, it's increasing in Bond County, yet the numbers. When I was campaigning, we're in Mangibi County, and after we ended our engagement and tried to leave, there was a whole group hijacked our whole entourage, saying that or they did not get a significant portion, so they would not even let us go, and these people have nothing to lose. So we should be concerned, not just on the prosecution side to say what is the police doing, because there's a limit on our capacity to even incarcerate people. We cannot incarcerate half of the population. So there is a real gap in terms of social responsibility, in terms of the conditions that families are in, and the condition of so many of these young people who have no family to turn to. My question is, we say we have a Ministry of Health and Social Welfare. So what is the welfare that this Ministry of Health and Social Welfare provides when we have thousands of young people homeless in the street? So there's a need for capacity building in that area. Let that social welfare mean something. The Ministry of Gender, maybe the Ministry of Gender needs to coordinate with the Ministry of Health and Social Welfare so that it can address the issue of these young people in the streets. What happened here could happen to any of us. Any of us. That woman could be anybody, sister. It could be anybody, wife. It could be anybody, child. And we should not take this to just be one of those political things. This has to be a signal for this issue to be addressed. Otherwise, these young people in the street, they have nothing to lose. They are hopeless. They are depressed. And if this issue is not handled from both sides in terms of providing capacity for the police, as well as trying to prevent more people from coming into the streets and being participant in these mobs, we have a lot of problems ahead. So that's my comment.
Thank you. We go to our observation on inaugurations and the kind of money that is put into inauguration.
May
When
I comment
no, you
on
cannot.
that,
Not now. Just hold your comment, please, and you can have a pen and just jot it down, and then you can ask the question right after.
Okay, I
We
mean,
want to say,
okay,
we
let's
all
go ahead.
congratulations to the new government, and we are looking forward to good and better things, because this is the reason why people voted into power this new regime. And I like the slogan they had: rescue mission, rescue mother, rescue everything. So when you use that word rescue, uh, it means you are bringing change. Rescue from the status quo, rescue from poverty, rescue from corruption, rescue from ill treatment, rescue from we just name it on and on. Now take a look back at previous inaugurations. In Ellen Johnson Sirleaf 2012 inauguration, the amount, I stand to be corrected, that was spent, it was $1.2 million that was put into that inauguration. And George Weah in 2018, his inauguration, we had 900,000. Now we don't know how much is being put into the current planning of this inauguration that will soon be taking place. But the question here is that amidst this massive poverty in Liberia, is this really necessary? Dr. Gompu, let's hear from you.
Thank you. The inauguration is, I think, it's a constitutional matter.
Yes.
But we can enforce the Constitution and still be efficient, especially when our economy is depressed and we experiencing one of the highest poverty rates globally and in Africa. So I congratulate the Ambassador Boakai and Jeremiah Kuhn team and the Unity Party and all of their supporters, including my friend Mr. Numbo. And I hope that the Boakai team will approach this inauguration differently to send a clear signal that the rescue process has actually begun. There are so many urgent needs across the country. Hunger is a problem, and poverty is a problem. Urgently, we're talking about these young people who are homeless in the street. The University of Liberia campus needs significant amount of work. The young people there have difficulties even connecting to the internet on campus because of the lack of Wi-Fi or working Wi-Fi. So there are a lot of things to be done immediately with money. So I think that the rescue team could make a significant breakthrough by doing this inauguration differently. Instead of putting so much money into festivities that will end up benefiting a few well-connected people, I think that they can cut the budget down significantly to just maybe around $100,000 to just do all the constitutional requirement, take the oath of office, and maybe organize a few parties across the country and the city, for example, for children, and then save the rest of that money to be spent on these urgent needs that I outline, including bringing working Wi-Fi to the University of Liberia students, and helping the Health Ministry of Health and Ministry of Gender to get a working team that will begin to address the problem of these homeless young people across the country. So that will be my recommendation.
Thank you, Doc. Mr. Nubo?
Thank you very much. I was not at the 2011 inauguration. I was at the 2006 inauguration that were held on the on the legislative ground. And even it was announced there by the protocol officer that we did not even have bathrooms. And the most recent one you talk about was held at the pavilion. And the inaugural committee that has been announced, headed by Miata family, they selected the same pavilion. The most recent one was cheaper than 2011, and Miata selected the same venue. And what I want for them to do is to apply innovation and technology, people can be, at Samuel K. Doe Stadium with these widescreen TVs. People can be in Zwedru, in Maryland, in Ravosfort, and it won't cost them any big bucks. So I want for the committee to use technology and innovation. And those are for the lazy people who don't want to spend money. And we will enjoy it. And be here, and be watching on live screen or in Batawi, Bon County. And how much it will cost me my internet bill. So as we move forward, we need to use technology and innovation.
Thank you. Thank you. So the concern here is whether this lavish spending for inauguration is
Well,
not really
well,
is
I
it
have
really necessary? So
I have not
you are saying
seen
right
it.
now that it's not necessary,
I
right?
have not
Because that's the
seen it.
question.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
we
I
look
have
we
not
look at
seen
previous
it.
we looked at previous record, and
Okay,
that's where we draw in our
right.
analogy from. Yeah. Okay.
Okay,
So
according
thank
to
you, Mr.
you,
Noble.
2011
Thank you, Mr. Noble.
was more expensive than 2017.
Thank
And
you.
we are going to 2017. We are not going back to 2011.
No, we
We
don't
are
want
going to the
we don't
least
want to see
expensive
any
one.
amount that look like the past amount. So
Okay,
hopefully the planning committee will take a cue from the discussion here today and will look
okay.
at previous spending and also
Yeah.
look at the situation that we are facing in Liberia. So thank you so much, Mr. Jones.
Yeah, I think those are very good points by both of these men. Um, my only question I have is, do this inaugural committee uh, even have a website? And I can almost guess absolutely not. So Mr. Nubo is talking about putting large screen TV and screaming their thing. They don't have a probably basic website where they can inform the public, where they can get ideas from. The whole thing is already starting in a very dysfunctional way. We just highlighted the situation in Liberia. People don't have food to eat. There's breakdown law and order. The youth are despondent. And what does the president-elect do? He jumps on a plane and travels for 3 weeks or time indefinite. No major press conference or of some of these issues. It already looks like John Molu is the Minister of Information, the Minister of Finance. Actually, is that John Molu was elected. He's the only person we hear from. Joseph Boakai is somewhere missing in action. Is buffoon George Lopo, who is, according to him, the official spokesperson of Joseph Boakai, is clowning on the internet. That's how irresponsible these people are. And you expect them to have, they can't even build a website for the transitional team. You take a whole bunch of past old corrupt politicians, people like Amara Kone, and put them right back on the table to go back and mismanage again. So how can you got a situation where JFK, perhaps if JFK was in a better,
Bringing you back to the question, Chuchu.
yeah,
Is this
no,
spending
absolutely not.
necessary?
They
Yeah.
no, absolutely not. They should not spend more than 100,000, like Dr. Gompu said. It should be a simple program. Sierra Leone just had a second inauguration, and they had no lavish program because of the condition of the people. But this tells you that these politicians, Joseph Boakai, the Connors, the people who benefit, they don't care about the Liberian people. They don't do anything innovative anyway. Some of these people are legislators. In the budget, it has internet and communication, and they don't even have a website. That's the first place the corruption is. So let us start kidding ourselves. These people are dysfunctional. They are incompetent, both the past we are and the current that we're going to have. It's going to be another 6 years of nothingness. They're just going to talk, like I said, just by like the common saying like, bro, you know how the Christmas from the Eve. Look at the people on the transitional team. Where have they? They don't even have a website. Don't you think that the public in this day and age should be involved? Candidates, people like Dr. Gumpu, people like Delon, Willie Delon, all around the world, they should be reaching out to these people to get the inputs. But instead, they cocoon themselves. It's like an old good ball group where if you're not your name not Kamara, you're not from Lofa County, then you know what? That the time this, just like Joel Howard Taylor said. So I'm all rage. Okay, and that's why the youth in Liberia, they have no job. The hospitals are broken because the president-elect can get on the plane to go come and check your blood pressure or wherever it is, whereby your mom, your pa, they got to go to JFK and this young lady got to die. You know what I'm saying? So we have bad leadership in Liberia, and electing somebody means nothing because we got people like Bertrand elected, we got people like McGill elected. So if you want to say elect somebody elected as a good thing for Liberia, look at all the idiots that are elected in the House of Representatives, including like the people who are banned for coming to America for corruption. They're winning election in Liberia. People who are charged for who are accused of massive corruption for international institutions like the Global Witness. Amara Kone, he's elected. Can you tell me that these people will do anything good? Absolutely not. Don't bang on them. Go make your farm and wait for another 6 years. That's my message to Liberian people. They're already
Thank you.
disappointing as we speak.
Thank you, Juju. We will go to Delon, but I think his internet is kind of fluctuating. But we want to talk about corruption in Liberia because this is one topic that is so spread out all over. People that are talking about it every day. There's corruption here, corruption there, and the saddest part of this whole thing is that you have international organizations coming to sanction our officials because of corruption. So it brings me to the question, what happened to GAC? What is happening to LACC? Why are these organizations not picking out or not signaling out people or maybe a group of people that are into some kind of syndicate that is allowing the international community to step in and talk about corruption and sanction people on corruption? So how can we fight this corruption in Liberia? How can we help to minimize this corruption? I want to start with Delon. Delon comes from a background of forensic. Delon, can you help me out there? Go ahead.
All right. You mean as far as the question or as far as my background?
Fraud detection. That's what I wanted to say. Go ahead, Delon.
Okay. Yes. So I guess your question.
Dylan froze.
Oh my God. Dylan is having a serious.
Is that the question?
The question here is, how can we fight corruption in Liberia?
All right. And can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Yes. So yeah. From what I understood, you were saying we have all these institutions here in, well, not here, but we have all these institutions in Liberia that are supposed to fight corruption, but yet and still we have institutions in other countries that are pointing out that there are corrupt actors in our government, and they're the ones that are detecting it. But within our country, we can't seem to grab a hold of it ourselves, right? Well, in our country, the thing about it is that the corrupt actors are part of the institution of the government itself. So they skew the proceeds of corruption towards themselves. They skew the rules in a way that benefit themselves. And then at the end of the day, there's no internal control. There's no one group that's supposed to watch the other group, and the other group maintain some sort of check and balance. So because of it, the check and balance is in place as far as on paper, but the actors within the government find a way to navigate around those things in order to enrich themselves. So there are no consequences, and the trail for the corruption goes all the way to the top. So you will find out that the tune at the top is either very lenient, or they're also implicated in the fraud themselves. So within Liberia, we need a cultural change, but yet and still we also need to make sure that our voters are aware of the fact that you not only are you voting for this man because you guys are from the same village and now he's a big shot. You need to vote for him based on the lines of integrity also. His background matters. His past deeds matter, or his or her, not only just him. But we have to take those things into consideration, because at the end of the day, these people represent us, and it says a lot about our society. If at all we are electing such people, if at all we're putting people in positions of public trust, and at the end of the day, we allow these things to continue to go on, we'll never be able to make progress. That's my perspective.
Wow. Thank you, Dylan. Mr. Nubo, you want to give your opinion on that? How can we fight corruption?
Okay.
Mr. Nubo have a background. He audited. He was at the GSC.
I was
So
the
he's-
administrator at the General Auditing Commission.
So that's some of the problem right there.
And please do not come in.
Sorry. Go ahead.
No,
Chuchu.
because he does not have any fighting corruption credential. So he
Okay.
cannot come
Let's
in.
go back to the question. How can we do that? Yeah.
Corruption in Liberia. George Nubo is occupying this lucrative position and building mansions for himself. The Liberian people are to be blamed. They do not call it corruption, they call it development. And you don't see GAC or LACC or the Internal Audit Secretariat since the killing of the auditors come forward to fight corruption. I feel that our mothers in Liberia do not want for their children to work for those institutions, because that is a death sentence for them. So, whereby they say Firestone say we not fire you, but the way we treat you, will make you, resign yourself. And that's what we have in Liberia. And I want to rest my case there.
Thank you.
Until somebody comes.
Thank you. Dr. Gompo, how can we do this? How can we
How can we fight corruption?
Yeah, fight or minimize? How can we help this country?
Yeah, I think this discussion is timely in light of the fact that there's a new government coming in, and this government has said that they're coming to do better. They basically are on their way to rescue
Liberia from corrupt officials.
Right,
from
the corruption. So I hope that these conversations will help to signal to them some of the areas they should be looking at. Yes, I agree that the institutions, as Mr. Dillon said, the institutions are weak, and the corrupt actors are also the same people who should be enforcing the law or who should be making the law. So it becomes a very difficult situation. However, some other countries have done it. So the issue of where's GSC? Okay, but where's GSC and where is LACC? But what about those auditors who were killed? What has happened? What has been the police evidence that have been provided, or who has been arrested? And so many of the auditors in the country now, and many of the people
So
working
you
for
are
transparency,
saying in the execution of their duty, there's fear, so they can't say anything.
yeah, they are now silenced.
So if that's the
And they're
case, why can't they
looking,
just
they're
resign?
looking, they're looking, they're looking for justice. They're looking for justice, and the Center for Transparency and Accountability in Liberia just released a report saying that the corruption level from the perception survey, I think they work for Transparency International. They say that has increased. Zeroing in or focusing on the Ministry of Finance, whose minister just made a rebuttal to the U.S. Sanction, claiming that he was wrongly signaled out and it was unfair. What Centel report says is that when the public started complaining about the $30,000 each that was given to each legislator, as what Mr. Kwe calls in the budget for legislative engagement, we're getting $30,000 each. The public, the media complain. So now they have removed that budget line, and they have a new budget line with 10 million, and they replace it with a new budget line with that where they allocated $10,406,380 for what they call allocated for legislative committee hearings.
Oh my goodness.
You see? So instead of $10,000 for each legislator now, they have $10 million for legislative committee hearings. So if you're part of the people who were supposed to organize that committee hearing, then all this money goes into that direction. And so Centel is still looking at this as more corruption in the budget. So I think how to fight corruption, I think that it is time for us to innovate our fiscal policy system. It is time to bring in more transparency. And I am calling now for every Liberian over the age of 18 to file income tax report. Let's see what people are making relative to their jobs. And number two, we should institute a system of asset declaration or asset reporting, maybe every 3 years for every citizen. So if someone graduated from LU, entered the government, and overnight becomes a multi-millionaire, and he's telling us that he's so smart, that's how he became a millionaire. Okay, so let him do an asset declaration. And it does not matter whether you're in the public sector or in the private sector. I am saying every Liberian, because if you get into government, or if someone in government is there looting and putting it in your name, you're not working, but you got 15 houses, 15, mansions, and you're sharing the income from these mansions with that person, then you are also corrupt. So let's extend this to every Liberian, and let's see the sources of these funds. Because, if you, as I said, received your degree in 5 years ago, and now you're such a genius, you never created any factory, you're not producing anything, you go into government, we know your salary, we know your benefit, and within 5 years you're now a multi-millionaire, we can trace that. I don't think the way things are now in Liberia, the courts are weak, the lawyers are corrupt, the judiciary is corrupt, so no one who is rich in Liberia will be convicted by any court in this system the way it is now. So let's do the asset declaration for all citizens. And those who cannot explain and we cannot see the sources of their funds, it means that either they stole it from government or they're selling drugs or whatever they're doing, and let those funds be returned to the state. And that will be one step, one effective step towards reducing corruption in Liberia.
Thank you.
Even though it sounds very radical.
I know. Thank you.
May I respond?
Thank
May I
you.
respond to Dr.
Juju,
Gumbo?
yeah,
Yeah.
you coming in because you have to give your opinion on that matter. Or we are going live, or we are live on OCM radio in Liberia, and we will be relaying every time we come on Fortified City Roundtable. So this is just the announcement. So if you are just joining us, this is Fortified City TV, and this is the Roundtable, and the people in studio, they are our panelists, and we are discussing inaugural budget amidst massive poverty and mob justice in the rule of law, or enforcing the rule of law. And lastly, we are talking about how we can discourage or minimize or even eradicate corruption in Liberia. So we're going to have Mr. Jones that will give us his opinion on that matter. Thereafter, we're going to be taking our closing comments because time is fast spent. Mr. Jones.
All right. And I hope this discussion could go on a little longer because it's very important, but we press for time. But look, Dr. Gombe, I disagree with you on this one. I think you are one of the finest economists in Liberia. But here's where I disagree with you. We have all these laws against corruption. Okay, we have all the public laws, we have all the institutions, we have the auditors, the GAC, we have all these things. All right. So it's not a question of laws, of making people file taxes, of questioning. It's the question of will. When you are president elect and you go and you designate someone who the international committee, Transparency International, has said receive money from ExxonMobil for the all black 13, and you take this man and put him on your inaugural on your transitional team, you are not a serious person fighting corruption. You are no different from Ellie Johnson Salif then, that says we wage war and call corruption public enemy number one, but turns right around and bring in people who were questionable and people who were close, including her sons and so forth. So you can pass all the laws in Liberia, you can make all the statements, but if we have leaders like Joseph Walker, who is part of this corrupt system, they created the corrupt system. Their government started paying legislators, giving brown envelopes to pass bills and confirm officials, presiding, and then going back and bringing the same people like Kofi Woods, where the bill rose with no accountability that washed away. The international community are reading another report. Over $1 billion was spent on roads in Liberia, the EU. Where are the roads? What you have a guy who was the minister of public works, has not come out to one press to give an account. The president elected that same man and say you in charge of rescuing Liberia. It's like giving the cheese to the mouse. So that does not send any good faith. You have corrupt people who are accused of corrupt, people who the public know corrupt. Augustine Kopuya, minister of finance, budget director, foreign minister. What has been the result of all those positions he's held in Liberia? Liberia is still the seventh poorest nation. Liberia youth are still unemployed. Liberia is still corrupt. And you take it again and say, okay, it's just foolishness to the highest extent. And it tells me the kind of persons that we elect into offices. People who do not have the will to fight corruption, because a president should first say, before someone is even serving on your inaugural committee, what is your record? What is the public perception about you before they even select that person? So, like Dr. Gombo said, it's the same people. Willie Dillon said, if you're saying that you want to fight corruption, but you bring in the people who are implicated in corruption to transition and do these things, then you are not a serious person. And I will be the first person to say it was a mistake that we make to elect people like Joseph Walker. They are part of the corrupt system. They invented the corrupt system. They have all the clans and their friends and who are corrupt, and that's what you're going to continue to have. And I can challenge anyone. I don't think Liberia HDI is going to go up. I don't think Transparency International is going to say the perception of corruption, have reduced because you have mostly corrupt people. Lucini Kamara, this man was finance minister,
Okay.
massive corruption. He's on your transitional team. So Liberian people, Joe Parker is not a serious person. Okay? And
Thank
then you
you.
leave
Thank you,
all of
Chichi.
that. Just 1 minute. You leave all of that. You leave it with Kofi Woods and you leave it with John Molu and you come to America while your people dying. What president elect in the world would do that in a country that is so dysfunctional? The first thing you do is you concentrate on yourself. If you're not fit to be president, you should not be president. If you don't have the health to be president, you should not be president. You can't take a job that you are not healthy or you are not capable, that you have to be leaving the country for 2-3 weeks when you're supposed to be forming government and making sure the people who work in the government are first are not corrupt. So that's the problem we have, and somebody has to say it, and I will say it.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Mr.
but
Joe.
I think okay.
If
No, I need to do a rebuttal because
yeah, okay, okay,
I
got it.
want to do one
the
too.
thing. Yeah, the thing is, the issue about fighting corruption in Liberia, I don't think it's just about one person. I don't think it's just about the president, because I think sometimes we overly focus on one person, making it appear like they are indispensable. Then we lose track, we lose focus. And the thing is that there is still a president in charge in Liberia. Joseph Boakai does not become president until after January 22nd.
Perfect.
So there's a need for you to keep your ammunitions, hold on to your ammunitions, because the thing is, there's still a president there. Joseph Boakai basically just need to be now studying the system, following, stay in conversation with the current president, stay low to hit the ground running. So if he's taking time now to make sure that he is in order, to consult his people around the world, to do whatever he needs to do to get prepared to hit the ground running from January 22nd, I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. The issue of who returns to government, I agree with you on that. Clearly, that is a factor. If you're serious about fighting corruption, you have to make sure that people who are coming in, who are going to be your advisors, who are going to play a principal role, are well vetted. And that's why I'm saying that if we're going to fight corruption now and going forward, we cannot forget about past corruption. So those who have accumulated wealth, okay,
Thank you.
who were involved in past corruption and are sitting on these wealth, they're not contributing to GDP, they're not contributing to anything. And they're coming in, they're looking for ways now to make more wealth. I think we should confiscate those wealth to send a signal to people who are coming in now and to people who are coming into the future. And we just forget about past corruption. And we just say, let's focus on Joseph Boakai and the government that is coming in, and let's move forward. What about all the other guys who are sitting on millions and millions of dollars that were looted from the state? What are we going to do?
Thank you. Thank you. So
All right.
the number here, if you want to partake in this discussion, is +231-777-145-145. You can call us on
Read again.
WhatsApp or you can call us direct.
Please read it again.
I wanted to
Yeah.
come in.
Yeah, you can
Please
come
read the
in.
number
Just
again.
just 2 minutes.
Thank you very much. I agree with Dr. Gumpo. In Liberia, these days, starting from Ellen Johnson administration, the premier fighter against corruption is John Molu. And I see Tutu here putting John Molu down.
No, I did not. I
Joe
did not
Boakai,
mention Joe Molo.
no, hold on.
I said Amar
No,
Kone.
no, don't talk. Joe Boakai has not, is president-elect. He is not a president yet.
I said on the
If he,
transitional team.
no, I don't want to hear from you until I end. If
Well, but they don't misquote. They don't misquote me. They don't misquote me.
okay.
I'm helping. I'm helping
If
you to
he
tell you what I
continues
said.
to talk, I will leave his show.
I don't know why you're so worked
Okay,
up. I'm saying
okay.
don't misquote me.
Corrupt. This man
Tuju,
is deceiving
Tuju,
the
sorry,
Liberian
Tuju,
people. This man
I'm
is,
speaking.
and
Mr. Nubo,
in
end
the
his statement,
future,
please.
don't invite this man on the show. I am
Yeah, because I'm exposing your corrupt friends.
Tuju, can
on
we
the
hear
show
Mr.
I
Nubo, please?
on. He is Senegalese. He posted about it. Don't bring him here.
So what does that have to do with the discussion that Amar
And
Kone is
I'm
corrupt?
leaving because you
No,
patients
What
are.
is,
I'm leaving the show here.
yeah,
This
you
man
can
is
leave.
a
no,
very corrupt man.
Tuju, you have to
Why
give
will
Mr.
he
Nubo,
come
you
here
have to give
to
Mr. Nubo
blame
his
Joe
2 minutes.
Boakai for
He's
coming
all with
here
it.
in the U.S.? Joe Boakai is not president. He should worry about George Weah.
Mr. Nubo, can you go to the response? Can you just make your comments and
Okay, no, he
yes,
kept on
please.
coming. I agree with Dr. Lamptey. Joe Boakai is elected president. Nothing wrong with Joe Boakai coming here, even for medical treatment. He wants to prepare himself for the task ahead of him. He is not inaugurated. So I don't see why people here, including Chuchu, who did not have problem with George Weah killing auditors.
You see some of the things I'm talking about?
Complaining
I have to
about
respond.
Joe coming.
We will stay on the topic of discussion. We cannot avert. Yes, let's stay on the
Okay,
topic.
can I respond
You have
to Mr. Noble?
You cannot respond to that. Mr.
I'm
Allison,
going to leave.
you ask your next
If
question.
you
That's the last
allow
question.
anybody to respond,
Okay, Mr. Nubo, you have
and
ended
we
your 2
never come
minutes.
back to the show here.
Mr. Nubo, you have ended your 2 minutes. Thank you so much.
No,
Chuchu
I'm
cannot
not
respond right now.
ending.
We are going to ask the next question. Prince
Let
is going
Mr.
to ask
Nubo
the
in.
last question.
Let him learn.
I
Let him
have to
learn.
end.
Okay, end, Mr.
These
Nubo.
are the
End.
things you and Jensen do on the show here. And that is not promoting this show. I'm telling you, patients, we are here for serious business. We are not here for infantile issues raised by Chuchu. Joe Boakai is here. We are trying to fight corruption.
Okay.
If you ask about people that fought corruption in Liberia, you will never hear the name of Chuchu. You will hear John Monroe's name over and over.
Yeah, you have to, because he was Auditor General.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Nubo. Prince, the last question you want to ask?
I want to ask Mr. Lou and Chuchu. If we talk about fighting corruption in Liberia and in few days to come, Joseph Boakai will be the next president. Where should we start? From the Ellen Johnson Sirleaf government or the George Weah? If we're very serious indeed.
He's asking me, right?
Yeah, go ahead, Mr. Nubo.
Thank you very much. Corruption is corruption. My Southeastern brothers call me and say, if Joe Boakai start from George Weah, is witch hunting. But George Weah had the opportunity to audit the Allen government. He did not do it. But for Joe Boakai administration, there is no stopping. whether like George Weah corruption or Eddie Johnson corruption or Jimmy Bryant corruption, we will go all the way. Thank you.
Thank you. Juju, you want to
Yeah,
respond to Prince's question?
I think I think I must agree with him on that one. That corruption is corruption. You don't say because Joe Biden is president now and Donald Trump is that investigate someone, in the 90s or earlier, so you don't have the responsibility to investigate them and charge them if possible. So he's right on that point. But what I'm saying here, to your question again, is to fight corruption is will. If you do not have the will to stop people who are accused of corruption, people who international communities have pointed out are corrupt, people like Amara Kone, and you bring those people in a transition, a very important role, you are not serious about fighting corruption. Because if you tell me that for 40 years Joe Boga lives in Liberia, he doesn't read Amnesty International report, he doesn't read the Transparency International report, he doesn't know that Amara Kone is corrupt, he doesn't know, then I don't think he's fit to be president. Because you don't need to leave your country to go to another country to prepare for anything when you have a very important issue. First of all, Liberian people should start to get a sense of who are you bringing into this government and what are the qualifications, where are the past records, and the people you've already selected on the transitional team. Okay, I'm not saying all of them. I've made very clear the ones that I have issue with. All right, people like what you call Kambara, who was finance minister in Liberia. One of the worst during the end of Eddie Johnson Salif, that the John Molu said that government was 3 times more corrupt. Who was the finance minister? Joe Bogas was the same two finance minister that John Molu to show how ignorant that is. You John Molu, you said that Eddie Johnson Salif government was 3 times more corrupt. But then you serving on a transitional team with two of the finance minister that you accuse to be 3 times corrupt. First of all, you should protest that. If you are serious, man, John Molu, that's the issue I have with him. That's why some of these people there need to have book and not common sense.
Okay.
Thank you, Juju. Thank you.
All right.
Jelon, just coming. Mr. Nubo. Jelon, just coming. We need to take his comment.
No, he can't respond to that too because I didn't have the opportunity to respond.
Go ahead, Jelon.
Okay. So one thing I would say, I do agree with my brother here, Chuchu, and that it may be a divergence from what Professor Gompu or my other big brother here is saying, is that you see, we have to look at the leadership, because within any organization, of which the government is the superstructure when it comes to organizations in any country, is the largest organization. It has sovereignty, right? In any organization, the leadership is what sets the tone at the top. And that tone is what reverberates through the organization. So yes, when we're looking at corruption, we're looking at any problem that needs to be solved within the organization, it has to start at the top. The people at the top, or the leadership, the person at the top has to emphasize the importance of it and exhibit it through the actions that they carry out. And then that will start to, carry on through the society. So the top does matter. Secondly, the leadership impacts the culture, influence the culture within the country, because if once they continue to carry on that tone over time, it becomes the norm, and that norm becomes the way of life over time. The reason we didn't get here in Liberia just by happenstance is because we had a culture that was tolerant towards corruption for so long. Now we can't see our way out of it, but now we need a leadership that will set a new tone, and that tone over time will reverberate through the organization, which is the government, and then it will enter the culture, enter the popular culture, and over time it becomes a new way of life. So we shouldn't try to separate, the leadership from the country, or the government from the leader, or the culture, or the people from. It's all connected, but it starts from somewhere. So when you say leadership, The leadership is supposed to emphasize the things that are important to the society and bring about the change that is needed. So I mean, I do agree with my brother here, Alex, in saying that yes, we have to look at the leadership. And the leadership starts with the president. We have to look at those who are in their responsibility. They're actually shielding people who are known criminals. Some people are killers, and they're all in the House of Representatives, and they're shielding these people from real justice. Then we have the legislative branch who they're taking bribes, and so they're not they're not blindly handing out justice. All these things we have to point to it, but these leaders have to be held accountable. That's the only way the society will change.
That's
And
right.
I will stop there.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And time is fast spent, so we are about to close. But I'm going to give people the opportunity for a closing comment. And I beg, please let's limit our comment to a minute.
Yes.
Go ahead. Please, you want to say
Can
something?
we take a few calls?
Yes.
Can we take some calls from those who follow?
Yeah, go ahead.
Please do.
777-145-145. You can monitor the calls via the link I sent you, so just share with them, then get the callers for the end. Let's take this person. Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon.
What is your name and where you call from?
My name is Medu Sharif, calling over Kowe.
All right, go ahead and make a point.
My question is not the recent thing to you. So I just want to ask, why is the current elected president?
What is the current elected president?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, we answer that, okay? All right, so he asking, where is the current president? The president is in the States, so let's take this person from here. Hello.
Yeah, hello, how you doing?
Yeah, welcome to Fortified TV and OCL Radio and TV.
Yeah. All right. I call from River Liberia and Galito Puka.
Okay, Darlington, go ahead and make a point.
Yeah, I think my point is that I think the problem of corruption is not specifically those that work under the leadership. But it's the leadership itself. When the leaders are not right, and certainly when the president is not all right, there's no way that we can eradicate corruption. So I'm not saying on a transitional thing. I don't think that would be a cause for the Boakar administration not to fight corruption. The fact is, the president must be able to have the willpower to fight corruption. That is what we've been praying for. Because you have the power to appoint. So if you are not in the right attitude, it means that corruption will never be eradicated. That is the main focus I think Liberians should be looking at now. That the leadership of the Boakar must be able to fight corruption no matter what has come from one sender, what has come from the southeast, what has come from the northwestern part of Liberia, whether it's strong, whether that is brother, that is cousin or friends, he must be able to fight corruption.
Okay.
That's the thing I think we should look at.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. We'll take another person. Hello.
Yeah, hello, how are you?
Yeah, just lower your receiver, please.
Yeah, I'm away from it.
What is your name and where you call from?
I'm calling from rehab.
From rehab, go ahead.
Okay, I listen keenly to your panelists in studio. I think we are talking about what is the way forward for corruption in this country.
Sure.
I think one of your panelists mentioned that we should start from post-war Liberia. I think it will be very important that from Ellen Johnson government coming to join we have to go back to Ellen Johnson, as one of your panelists said. All those that were corrupting Ellen Johnson, but I think Monroe is the right person because he got a record of all those people that served the Ellen government that were corrupt. So we have to start from those people before coming to the present government. That's my contribution. Thank you.
Thank you. We take this one. Hello.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Welcome.
My name is Emmanuel Kimoropa. To join you on the Brian Fisher below Johnsonville, Edition number 2, Motorola County, Motorola Liberia.
From Johnsonville, go ahead.
Okay, I listened to the topic on the discussion that is prudent, but we watching because what the panel was saying that it is right. There are other people that will suffer from any government. Now somebody to be even go back to the ministry that we know them because it will be that you taking the oil from the other bottle and entering another other bottle. So we say no to that. We need them. We take a day. We start needing them. We don't need them in government. In other people that qualify that they get the experience. Not the old people that are corrupting any government. If we have government that will come out, we'll say no to that. We say friend, we mean talk, we mean lie to that. Thank you very much for your show.
Thank you. We'll take this one. Hello.
Yeah, good evening.
Welcome.
Yeah, Vanny Green from Upper Vanny Green.
Yeah, Vanny, a minute. Go ahead, make a point.
Yeah, but on the issue of the corruption, really, and I don't think we will stay to allow people to come around this government and go scot free. According to our senior bureau history, Senator John Molo, he worked the administration before and know the XYZ or how it was working, even the July government. So we're urging all the leaders in half the past government and those who were corrupt in how the leaders, they should bring it out. Then we can start from that page. We start investigating who our state and those who involved in the corruption will be able to go. But for the black administration, we are going to home everyone that based in corruption and what about later our constitution of this country by taking jobs that don't belong to them. And corruption for me, I feel to be something that we must fight and to rebound our system.
Okay, thank you. All right, thank you very much. We can take a few more and then get back to our panelists live in studio. All right, good afternoon. What is your name and where you come from?
Yeah, my name is James Toll, and I call from Barilla, Nigeria.
James Toll, go ahead.
Okay, I disagree with what about Uncle has suggested. That corruption should be for LA, should be for Dubai. Listen to me. Corruption is corruption. But I think the first thing that we need to assure everybody, the government that is standing open to this black government should first be audited. Because we had the opportunity of doing that within 2017. And we missed out. And because of that, black is still working on administration. So we want, first of all, deal with this government. After you are dealing with this government, you go to the next government. But it should not be stuck from where when we administration had the opportunity to do that, they never did it. And all of this we have administration, we saw a lot of structures that were built within 6 months time when it took power. We saw a lot of money leaving this country. We saw that the big people don't play with money. And so this administration to first of all be investigated, be audited thoroughly. That we hit the area administration, if possible, that we hit the judicial administration, if possible, go to the dual administration.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. We got to go back. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Good afternoon. Where you call from?
Okay, brother, excuse me from Rome. I call this number 1 to 3 staff room.
From Magibi County, go ahead.
All right. So for a concern of materials as a youth, let our leaders notice this. If the person working as the minister of state or minister of presidential affairs, no matter how, if you corrupt the policy I want friend to do, if the person has a chance, jail the person for 3 years, take the person of there and send it on to Nigerians. That would be, I think that would be the best for the leaders to be a friend now that because the number of us character.
Okay, thank you.
For watching.
Thank you. So let's get back to our lead presenter. So you listen.
We want to say thank you to our callers on there. Their suggestion. I mean, it's timely now that we, into a new regime. I would say we already into it, whether he's inaugurated or not. So I have my panelists here. We're going to give you 1 minute each to respond to the callers. We'll start with Mr. Nubu.
Now, Dr. Gompu, okay, I will come in listening to the callers. Oh, they overwhelmingly endorse John Molo. And on the transitional committee, there was a common understanding that people in the legislature should concentrate on their leaders. Amakara is elected as a senator for Bapulu County. He had no business being on that committee. Amara is not there. There are several people that you know of who were announced. They are not on that committee. John Molu is the lone fighter on that committee. His aim, he is, oh, I don't know how to call him, a reformer. And whether you are a friend, you are a relative, he doesn't care. He cares about the success of the revolution.
Thank you.
So he has been fighting and he is still fighting. I know this, and I decided to speak on it here. John Molu is not taking anything for granted. He
Thank you,
wants
Mr. Noble.
for Liberia to succeed like other African countries.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Delon, your closing comment. We responding to the callers.
Yes. Thank you for affording me this opportunity to be here today. I was actually impressed by the level of just commitment that the Liberian people have towards, the drive towards seeing Liberia being a corruption-free country. It shows that there's a disconnect between the leadership and the people. And the people definitely want change. They want a corruption-free society and a society that can pay dividends towards them and the future of their children. But it seems that the leadership is somehow, to use the word my brother Alex used, is cocooned. They are somehow, separate from that of the society itself, and they're only seeking their own interests. So I think that it's time for a new day. It's time for a new direction. It's time for the interest of the typical Liberian, not the multimillionaire senator or the multimillionaire minister, to have his best interest sought after. I think today is a new day, a new dawn, and time for the average Liberian to see their society work towards the best interests of their future. And I see that, the fire is burning and the drive is in the Liberian people towards that. And as long as we see that, we'll commit ourselves towards a corruption-free, a fraud-free society in Liberia.
Thank you, Willie Delon. Thank you so much. Chuchu?
Yeah, look, I will say this, okay? Y'all have all this confidence in John Malu. I have nothing against the man, but they say if you walk, if you quack like a dog and you walk like a dog, you probably a dog. The first thing in fighting corruption is you got to get rid of conflict of interest. And Delon, you are a fraud specialist. You're one of the most educated person on this subject. Okay, that's why when there's a case that involves corruption, you have to remove any conflict of interest. Anybody who's close to that person, anybody you can. So why am I saying this? Okay, John Molu cannot effectively fight corruption when he and the people who he accused, okay, two of the ministers of Liberia are working with him in the transition and are part of the very rescue team. What is his position? Okay, why he keeps criticizing John Weah administration, and rightfully so, he should criticize. John Weah administration was very corrupt. Samuel Tua is very corrupt. John Weah is very corrupt, and they all should be prosecuted. But so is Robert Salif. So is Amar Kone. So is Brahma Kamara. Brahma Kamara was deputy bank governor in Liberia. These people were taking money from the government and loaning it to themselves. I got the records. So John Molu cannot come here and talk about fighting corruption because he wants to fight only Samuel Tue, where Amar Kone next to him. If the people serious about corruption, the Senate should vote. If this man is implicated in corruption, they should impeach him. They impeach Cabinet Janet, Justice Cabinet Janet. So don't think that he go in the Senate to go and hide. The Senate can carry on a hearing and the money that they receive for Exxon Mobil and all the other corruption case, they will remove it and prosecute. And I will end with this: if Amara Kone, Burma Kamara are in this Walker administration, anywhere in it, Walker is not a serious person on corruption. And two, if Amara Kamara is not prosecuted in Liberia for corruption, because he's one of the most corrupt person, then there's nobody in Liberia should be prosecuted. Then we should just forget about it, because that would not be justice. That would be selective justice. The first thing I have a problem with, why is this man, these two people, three of them, three former finance ministers in the most corrupt government, even serving on a transitional team? That's the first place that Bunker has shown no leadership, and even the John Molu man has shown no leadership, because he should have protested that, and he didn't. So no kudos to him until he makes sure that these people do not serve in any key position until an investigation is carried out and the names are clear. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay,
Alessi, you want to
okay.
closing
Patient,
comment,
I
Alessi?
see
No,
that.
Mr.
I
Noble,
feel
we have
that
to close, please.
Chuchu did not on.
Alessi, can you close? Your closing comments.
That's a good one. This day on text. We can assure our audience out there are working behind the scene to make sure that this platform we can bring the high truth to the roundtable in making sure that we discuss our motherland Liberia. Yes, each that preach equity must always come with clean hands. And like
That's right.
Cubans always say, you can be doing the same thing repeatedly and expecting a different results. A man who classified the Ellen Johnson's elite government as three-ton corrupt as compared to the Judy Bryan in the government. At the time, you had the American and others on board, now working with them. I don't know. But again, the conversation will continue. And we pray that Joseph Boyka, the personally led, return home and we can have a beautiful inaugural program, not a lavish one. Like we're talking about no money, and, and let's see how Liberian get better. But again, I can safely say to you, the country, Liberia, we 176. Next year, we'll be turning 177. We just celebrated bicentennial. But our attitude, the way we do things at times, sometimes seems to beat my imagination. But again, they keep talking more constructive. And we hope that those who are leaders can listen and take the necessary action.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And just to close up, to fight corruption in Liberia, this is everybody's business, from the leader down. So if we are all serious about fighting corruption, it should start with every one of us. So having said that, I'm glad that people were shouting rescue, rescue, rescue. This is the time to rescue Liberia from corruption. And we will be here on Fortified City TV and breaking live all the activities that are going on, because we want to make sure Liberia is rescued. Rescue from corruption, rescue from nepotism, rescue from tribalism, and every other thing that it needs to be rescued from. So I want to say thank you for joining us. And our callers out there want to say thank you. We are here looking and we play our part in bringing change to Liberia. So we want to say God bless you and thank you for joining us today. This is Fortified City TV, and we're in collaboration with OCM Radio all the way from Monrovia, coming live to you. We will be here next Saturday, the same time, 3 p.m. Liberian time, which is 10 a.m. Eastern time here in the States. God bless you. And we say have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your week. And also, be careful. This is the festive season. I know you are preparing yourself to celebrate, but don't overdo the celebration. Keep in mind, this is the time to share love. Show somebody you love them. Reach out to somebody, tell them you care. And it's not only about giving them money, but your action speaks a lot. So God bless you. Share the love. Thank you so much for joining us. And I'm your host, Pastor Patience. You want to say something, Prince? Okay. And let me close with my team.